Hi, this is Robert Mansour, and today we're going to talk about a question that I get all the time, especially with people who have life insurance. They ask me, who should the beneficiary of my life insurance policy be? Well, the truth of the matter is you can make the beneficiary any individual or entity you want. You can make it a charity. You can say that my life insurance policy is made payable to my church or to any other organization. You can also name an individual like my wife or my husband, so-and-so. You can name your children. You can name brothers, sisters, anybody that you want. If you name more than one individual or one entity, you can then allocate percentages. So you can say 20% to so-and-so, 50% to so-and-so, etc. However, the question does happen a lot where people have young children and they're not sure what to do. So let's say you have your life insurance right here. So here's your life insurance policy. Life policy, okay? So this is going to pay out a certain amount of money upon your death. So basically what most people do is they say, okay, first is my spouse. So we'll put S here for spouse. And that's fine, because if I pass away and all the money is made payable to my wife, that seems like a reasonable thing. The problem is that many policies don't say, what happens if my wife passes away. In that case, you have to have what's called a contingent beneficiary, or sometimes they're called secondary beneficiaries. So you can say, okay, if not my wife, then to my children. And so we'll put here C for children. And you'd have to name your individual children. So if you've got, say, Sally is your child, and say Johnny down here. Okay, so Sally and Johnny in equal shares if my wife doesn't survive, and the insurance company will then be looking for a secondary beneficiary, and that's what most people do. They put the spouse first and then the children second. Here's the problem. The problem is if your children are underage. So let's say that your children are minors and they are 10 years old and say 7 years old. The insurance company up here is not going to write a check to a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. That's just not going to happen. There are a few variations on this, but one of them is that the children have to wait until they're 18 years old. And then when they're 18 years old, they can get the entire check just made payable to them. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want my kids getting that kind of money at that young age. They could be susceptible to pressure from peers, irresponsible spending. What if they take all that money and buy a silly car with it or something like that? I would much rather that money be used for their education, for their savings, maybe to help them buy a house, something reasonable like that. Also, in the alternative, the life insurance company might tell my children to go get a guardian. G for guardian. Then they will make the money payable to the guardian, who then will manage the money but still has to give it to the kids when they're 18 years of age. Another option is to have, this is my preferred option, have the life insurance money payable to a living trust. So we'll put LT here for living trust. The living trust is a document that you create, an entity that you create, that the money will be made payable to that living trust, and in the living trust you have rules about how and when Sally and Johnny get your money, under what circumstances, how old do they have to be. Also, in some cases, the person in charge of your trust, called your trustee, over here, this individual can withhold distributions to your children. Let's say one of your children is falling into bankruptcy, or is in a bad marriage, or otherwise has a dependency problem, alcoholism, substance abuse, whatever the case may be. This trustee can withhold the distribution to your kids and protect that money in this trust over here, which would be a very good thing, because otherwise, if it's made payable to them at age 18, they may squander the money. So in any event, this is a very good illustration of how a life insurance policy can work with a living trust to protect your children. If you want to learn more about this, feel free to contact my office, which is area code 661-414-7100, and we can get together and create a plan that'll protect you and your family. Thanks again. This has been Robert Mansour, and thanks for watching.